Lots of kids woke up on Christmas morning getting a new phone, computer, or maybe video game. But how do you limit the amount of screen time for them? Joining us this morning to talk about that is Jeff Ryland, therapist with Gundersen Health System. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So many new screens, I'm sure, under the Christmas tree yesterday. How do you impose rules when it comes to screen time and technology for these new gifts these kids have gotten?
Great question. And I think it would always be better if parents thought about this before their children open their presents so they could have those rules right up front. But if it's the day after Christmas and they're starting to already realize, oh my gosh, my child's spending a lot of time on this, I don't see them very much anymore, it might be helpful to come up with some pretty clear guidelines and lay those out. I always encourage parents to put those things in writing, and so they have that to refer to say, what are the rules? This is a guideline we have. So that would be a starting point, is give it some thought rather than putting out the fires later. Be proactive about it early on in their child's new toy, new adventure with technology.
Definitely, and more younger kids seem to be getting technology. We just keep getting new things. So is there a certain, amount of screen time recommended per age group?
There is. For children under the age of 18 months, we recommend, and this is not just me, this is the American Academy of Pediatrics, American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. It's recommended that children under 18 months only are involved in screens when it's FaceTime or chat time, when they're talking to family members, relatives virtually. For children 18 months to 2 years, they are encouraged to co-watch with their parents whatever age-appropriate programming that they're viewing together for maybe an hour. For children between 2 years and 5 years or 6 years, it's really 1 hour per day, sometimes a little more on the weekends. Again, it's not so much the amount of time, but the quality and the kind of programming that children are viewing. And then for children 6 years and older, it's really, again, a range, but somewhere between 1 and 2 to 3 hours of social media or social recreational screen time per day.
Definitely. And do you have any last advice for parents who maybe even themselves are just figuring out how to work with all this technology too?
Well, I think parents have to be the models. They have to kind of monitor their own screen use, because kids don't learn about social and emotional language and relationships from screens. They learn that through interaction. And when kids are plugged in, when parents are plugged in, they're not engaging and interacting with one another. And so parents need to monitor their own use. And I think that's a big starting point for them, that if they can pay attention and say, okay, we're not going to use screens now, we are going to spend time as a family, or to make screen time a reward for, not to take it away ever, but to say you earn your screen time by doing other things first, by getting along, by doing chores and homework, by getting outside and getting exercise. All of those things can become the foundation. That's what's really kids really need. And screen is that's like the dessert. It's like the bonus.
Some great advice. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.